This is the Uncensored Voice. No bullshit, just real shit.
Discussing things that will stir the pot.
Hi guys, this is Ricky Midnight with the Uncensored Voice.
This is JC Hollis.
Hey, I'm Adrian Reyes.
Hey guys, we just wanted to talk to you today about a few of the things that are happening in our nation. And before we get started, let me let you know that our phone number is 210-233-9968 if you want to call in and speak to either me or JC Hollis or Adrian. And we have a couple of topics we want to talk about today, right guys?
Yeah, I'm talking about quite a few things.
Well, what do you want to start with today?
Let's give a overview of the state of America right now on different levels. So I just shared the live video to my feed.
Excellent.
Yeah, so hopefully we get some callers. So if anyone's watching, please call in, ask us some questions. Glad to answer you. Okay, so socioeconomically, Biden has created a pocket of inflation in the American economy through his multi-trillion-dollar spending. Biologically, of course, whether real or imagined, this coronavirus, people are still freaking out about it after a year and 8 months, right?
Definitely.
And he's letting thousands of illegal immigrants across the border. So, and some of them could be infected, and he's shipping them all around the nation. But he's not requiring them to be vaccinated, but he's requiring federal employees to be vaccinated. He's requiring Americans to be vaccinated. And state governments, some of them are fighting back and making vaccine mandates unlawful. So we see a back and forth battle in the court systems between on the federal government level and then state government level. So we see these dynamics.
Yeah, well, have you guys heard that Biden has tried to, which is unconstitutional, but Biden has actually tried to make employers have their employees either vaccinated or tested every other week. If they're not, then he's going to charge them a $14,000 fine per employee or per incident if they do not comply with his wishes. Do y'all know about that? Have y'all heard about that?
I didn't hear about the fine, but I heard about the testing every 2 weeks. But he actually upped the ante on that now.
Oh, has he?
Yeah. Now it's just you have to get vaccinated. You can't get tested.
Wow. Okay.
So they kind of slip it in a little bit, and then when they see they got you, they do a little more, and that's how.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's how the chancellor in Germany did it, isn't it? You know, just little by little, he took your rights away through fear of the Jewish population. He didn't want them to infect his, Aryan race, and he created fear. And because of that, he took over. And we all know what Hitler did, right? We're talking about Hitler here. And that's kind of what Joe Biden's doing. But I don't think so much Joe Biden. I think Joe Biden is a little bit too out of it to be able to make.
So you think he's just a puppet, basically?
I think he's a puppet. I think he's the white man that was elected. And everybody, whether they're white, black, brown, whatever, everybody behind the scenes are the ones who are using him as the figurehead in order to get things done. With the
right. Absolutely, it doesn't make any sense for a president to leave all types of equipment over in Afghanistan. Oh, no. Billions of dollars. I mean, there's got to be some type of explanation why they did that.
Yeah. Well, other than he's somehow he's in bed with the Taliban. Yeah. I mean, whether they're paying him or in favors or they're paying him under the table or there's got to be some reason why he did what he did. I don't know what it is, but it's you and me who are paying for it. We're the taxpayers. We're paying for all of that crap that's over there, and I can't even get ammo for the guns I have. Isn't that crap?
Yeah, plus he canceled the Russian ammunition coming in the United States. He outlawed that.
I did not know that.
But the disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal led to the death of, 13 or 16 service members?
13
military members. Mm-hmm. Plus, recently there was a drone strike that actually killed civilians and children instead of terrorists.
Well, America claims that was an accident.
They claim it's an accident.
Okay. I had heard, here's what I heard. Maybe I'm wrong on this. I had heard, and I was listening to KTSA, and I was listening to them asking, I forget who it was they were asking, one of his advisors, who was it who got killed? Was it one of the aid workers or was it one of the bad guys, right? And well, we can't answer that at this time. What do you mean you can't answer? I mean, shouldn't you, before you actually shoot the damn drone missiles from the drones, shouldn't you know who you're going to be shooting at? Or do you just shoot and hope for the best? I mean, if you and I just stuck our guns out the window and started shooting, just hoping for the best, and we killed the wrong people, which is any people, we're going to prison. But it's okay for them because it's Biden's administration who did this. So is that what it is that we're looking at here, guys?
I think the Democrats have somehow created systems set up, and probably popular opinion, that it kind of gives them a get out of jail free card.
Yeah.
Or bypass jail completely card.
Mm-hmm.
And they're been using that quite frequently.
Yeah. So I'm as sick as I can be about this administration getting away with everything. It kind of reminds me of, and I know it's a little bit of an old subject now, but it kind of reminds me of Black Lives Matter. How they got away with crime after crime after crime. And it just goes unpunished, you know, kind of like Antifa got away with crimes. Because if you did the crimes and you're just one or two people, you're going to be held accountable. But if you're in a large group, I'm talking about, you know, several thousand across America, you know, several 100,000, it's okay to commit the exact same crimes. What the heck is that about? You know, it doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. But this is America we're living in now. I know when I was growing up, when I was a kid, it was not like this. I grew up on an Air Force base, but here we are just, you know, having to suffer through all this crap that's going on right now.
Yeah, I think there's a shadow government behind Joe Biden, of course, obviously. But, I mean, modern America today, this year, people are a lot less patriotic. They're more swayed into, like, crazy ideas, different, like, un-American, anti-American ideologies. You know, they're teaching socialism at the college level in academia.
Yeah.
And they've been doing that probably since the 60s. So it's been a steady, slow decline on different aspects, different components, morally, spiritually, socioeconomically, politically. It's been declining. And actually, I think we talked about this before, Ricky. It's a lot of parallels of America that looks like what led to the fall of the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it all started in the early 2000s when everybody had access to all this information. Because, you know, we got out of the Stone Age. We got out of those ages. Now that we're living in the information age, everybody has that access to them. Just constant information nonstop to their brain.
Well, you would think that because more people have easier access to information, that people would be a little bit wiser. Let's take 45 years ago, okay, before any of this crap came out. We still had the Dewey Decimal System in the freaking, you know, libraries. It was hard to look crap up, right? You would think those people would be less informed on the ways of the world, on the happenings of the world, than people are now today, right? But they seem to be more enlightened back then than they are now. I used to work with a girl as a police officer. She was a police officer, and I was a police officer. She was just a young one. And she actually turned to me one day. We weren't talking about politics at all. She actually turned to me one day because a commercial ran on, and it was when Biden, before Biden got elected. He had just announced his that he was going to run, right? And then, but it was mostly on what's his name? Who's that other little guy, the old guy? What was his name? That real old decrepit fella.
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders, yeah. Bernie Sanders was the main thing, right? And she said, you know what? I think we ought to just try a socialist way of doing things here in America. We ought to be socialist for a while, just to try it, see how we like it. And then, you know, of course, I'm not talking about it. And I turned to her and I said, you have no clue what you're talking about, do you? Have you ever heard of Russia? She goes, Russia? You know, it's the USSR now, USSR. Right? And have you ever heard of Russia? She goes, no. I said, well, maybe you should learn a little bit about history before you decide you want to, you know, get into politics or even vote, you know, one way or the other, because you have no idea what you're doing or no idea what you're talking about. But what I wanted to tell you guys was, and I don't know if y'all heard my other podcast, we were talking about patriotic, right? Well, I was driving to work the other day. Now, I don't know if y'all know the backstory, but Ohio chapter of Black Lives Matter says if you wave the American flag, then you're not a good person. You're a bad person. You're a hater. You're, you know, just everything. You could be a bigot, right? If you wave the American flag. So I'm driving to work the other day. It's probably about 6:45 in the morning, and there's someone right behind me, and I have a flag on the back of my truck. I have a small American flag in the back of my truck. She saw that, and she pulls up to my window, and she tells me I'm number one with her middle finger, and she kind of swerves a little bit. And
wow.
Nothing really drastic, but yeah, I was hated on for being a patriot. What the heck was with that?
Well, I think it's the phases that a lot of countries or nations go through. So what is it? Strong men create good times create weak men create bad times. It's like a cycle, right?
Yeah,
do you remember seeing that on my Facebook?
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that.
I agree with that.
That makes sense.
So I think if you compare like Generation Z, X, Y, all that coming down from 50 to 100 years ago, we see there's generation gaps. So every generation becomes subsequently worse off than the previous. They have less morals, less values, less like traditional aspects. You know, they're not concerned with like a strong family oriented system. They're more like prone toward homosexuality and transgenderism, and they want abortion. It's the whole liberal mindset, and it's really destroying like Christian values and the Constitution that America was founded on or associated with. So we see a steady, rapid decline, especially in the last 2 years since COVID came out. I think the fear has really been amping it up and progressing it. That's just my perception on it. What do you think, Adrian?
I think the whole thing started really with Colin Kaepernick. Remember when he started kneeling for the flag?
Yeah.
People were saying, not standing for the national anthem.
That he was a patriot, or he was a
patriot
man.
Because he was not wanting to stand for something that didn't represent him and his people. I kind of understand where he's coming from, and I really can't argue with them because I served my country, so they had the right to do that. They don't want to stand for that flag. That's their option,
Exactly.
And they feel like that flag doesn't represent them and where they come from. So I can kind of see both sides.
Well, see, I understand what you're saying, and I know the reason why Marines and soldiers and airmen. I know why they do what they do. They do it for love of the country or love of their friends that who are also serving with them.
Right.
Okay, I completely understand that. And I understand the reason why they're over there in the first place. It's because your country asked you to do something for them, so you're doing it for your country. Yeah, you volunteered. We don't have the draft right now. The draft went away a long time ago.
That'd be nice, though, if we had it. I think everybody
I think everybody in Black Lives Matter needs to be drafted. But, that's just me. They need to be drafted.
I think everybody in America should have to serve the country once you turn 18.
In some fashion or another. Yeah, they should. In like one of the armed forces, something, right? They should. That way they can learn respect for their country, right? But I understand that you guys fight for the right to go either way, to respect the flag or to disrespect the flag. That's their right. I understand that. But here's the way I look at it. If I'm going to go to a country or live in a country where I was born, I'm not going to disrespect that country's flag. I may not respect that country's flag, but disrespect is a different story. For example, do you remember how Biden, or what's his name, Obama. I'm sorry. Excuse the
Democrat.
My Freudian slip, right? Okay. How Obama would not put his hand on his heart, but yet he would still stand for the flag. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And okay, so that was disrespectful, but not like Kaepernick disrespectful, right? That is something that I would say would be acceptable. Just stand there. You don't necessarily have to put your hand on your heart. You don't have to show, that you're a loyal American, which obviously he isn't. That's fine. But to kneel down and then to start all this crap, it's like you're saying, he was the start of everything. I think that's a bunch of crap. He is the reason why most everybody is doing what they're doing, like they did in the Olympics. It just keeps going on and on.
Did you know that Texas passed on the 1st of September this month that all NFL, state colleges and teams like that have a contract with the state, they have to play the national anthem prior to the game. If not, they get like thousands and thousands of dollars of fine.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I like that.
And Mark Cuban from Dallas,
yes,
still won't play it, so he's going to get fined hundreds and hundreds.
Oh,
of
for
thousands.
real?
Yeah.
I did not know Mark Cuban was.
He's totally against this playing the national anthem at his events. Yeah.
So, wow.
So he's going to get fined. He's a millionaire, if not billionaire.
Oh, he's a billionaire.
He's a billionaire.
Yeah.
So a couple $100,000 is not going to hurt him.
No.
Even if it's a couple million, they're talking about finding him big because he's still really against it.
Okay, I'm gonna have to stop watching. What's that damn show he's in? Shark Tank. I'm gonna have to stop watching it. Man, I did not know that he was like that.
Yeah, I was reading
that's pretty screwed up of Cuban to be like that.
So, would you guys say that cancel culture? You do something they don't like, or you have a stance or a view, ideology they don't like, so they're like, okay, we're gonna cancel you. You can't go to this bank. We're going to get you out of college. We're going to fire you from your job. They try to cancel you. Would you say cancel culture is like the death of the American dream?
Well, the way I look at it is everyone has a right to do, just like we were talking about earlier, everyone has a right to do what they want to do in this country. The only people who don't have the right, and I'm not talking about the people, I'm talking about the organization, would be the government. Government can't do certain things. So if I want to boycott Bill Miller because they give money to Black Lives Matter, that's my choice. But the government does not have the right to mandate that nobody is allowed to go to Bill Miller, period. And if you go to Bill Miller, you will be, your license will be revoked, or you'll $10,000 fine. They don't have that ability, not according to our Constitution.
Right, that's going
So
against.
I think it's a bunch of crap that Joe Biden is telling employers that if they don't have their employees vaccinated, they need to fire them. I think that's a bunch of crap.
What about when we were younger? We had to get all the polio, smallpox
Smallpox,
vaccines just to go to school. It wasn't a big issue then, but people are saying that viruses can't be made within 2 years. It takes 10 years to make a virus. I don't necessarily agree with that because I think we're not in 1995 no more. We're in 2021, and we put billions of dollars into coming up with a vaccine. I'm not saying I believe in it 100%. I think America does want everybody just to conform.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
right, but those other viruses and diseases didn't just go away. They're eradicated by vaccines.
Yeah.
So I have a little trust in what we're doing, but I'm always skeptical. You gotta be skeptical what you're going into.
Okay, the reason why I agree with pretty much everything you're saying there, except for the fact that the actual vaccine may work. I'm not saying it doesn't work.
Right.
Okay, but we don't have proof that it works. Okay, and it may work.
Nothing's 100%.
No, nothing. But the problem I have with that is they were told. And I'm talking about the FDA. They were told you have to approve this, or or blank at this time. We need this approved. Period. And then the American people will fall into line as soon as you approve it. They didn't approve it because it met its approval. They approved it because they were told to approve it. Right.
For me, FDA approval really doesn't mean nothing. Because,
no, it doesn't.
They approve.
They approve cigarettes.
They
Cigarettes
don't approve the actual cigarettes. They approve the manufacturing and the labeling and all that. That's what's actually approved in there. But FDA really doesn't mean anything to me, in my opinion.
There's still FDA approved medicines and drugs that still produce injuries and even deaths to people. So FDA approval doesn't carry a lot of weight, I don't think.
Oh yeah,
but it's probably better than nothing.
There's a lot of stuff that's approved. Like Roundup was approved by the CDC, and that causes cancer and makes your colon fall out. There's all sorts of stuff that's been approved by the FDA or the CDC or FDA or one of those all those acronyms, right? They've been approved by them. That doesn't mean anything. But this is what give an example for everybody who's listening out there. This is a good example. I'm a home inspector, and JC, you want me to come inspect your home because you're gonna sell it, or maybe you want to buy a home and you want me to inspect it, right? Okay, I go over there to do the inspection, and I'm thinking to myself, yes, this is like a good home. Or no, this is it. I wouldn't give this my stamp of approval, right? But then Adrian says, "Look, he's the boss. Adrian's my boss." Adrian says, "You will approve this thing right now." I'm like, "Well, okay, boom. Here's my stamp of approval. It's approved." Now, do we know that your house meets the approval? We don't know that. All we know is that Adrian told me I have to approve this house. Right. So this is what the FDA is doing with the vaccine. It may meet it, but it may not meet it. So I don't have any trust in the FDA's approval. That's what I'm saying.
And the federal government made it mandatory for all their military force to get it before the FDA approval even came out.
Yes. Yeah. I'd heard about that. Yeah.
So that tells you that what's on paper can often be very different from what is real in reality.
Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to look at it from a different perspective. Maybe I'm trying to justify, as you said, a couple of days ago. If America is telling their entire military force to get it, because we know America is a bunch of pimps, a bunch of gangsters. They want to win, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Right. So if they're inoculating their entire force, that has to mean something. It has to speak a little bit of a volume. Mm-hmm. Say, hey, you know what? They saw something we didn't. Maybe they have some research that we don't know, but they're inoculating their entire force. Mm-hmm. They say, get it done. Do it or else. Well, so, it has to speak some type of,
it's kind of unfortunate. I understand if you're in the military, you kind of got to follow suit.
Right.
The unfortunate thing is if you're in the military and you don't want to follow suit, you can't just up and quit. Like, I can quit my job tomorrow, never go back to, Monday. Start work Monday, every Monday, right? Monday through Friday. I don't have to go to work Monday. I can just quit. You can't do that because you're in the military. So that's the problem, right? If you're in the military, you can't just up and quit. Unless you want to find yourself court-martialed and
Fort Leavenworth,
and go there or go to Kenmore or something, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have a choice. But I mean, it is what it is. You sign up for it. It is what it is, right? It's kind of like, when I was a police officer, I signed up for it. Being shot is one of the hazards of it, or being a fireman, one of the hazards of being burned to death. I mean, it is what it is. But for everybody else, for their employer to say, you will get the vaccine or I'm going to fire you. Let's say you're a nurse or a doctor and you went to school all these years. And we're talking lots of years. Then you're an intern. And then, lots of money that your mom, your dad, your uncle, everybody gave. And then all of a sudden you become a doctor and I'm an oncologist. I'm making $350,000 a year or $500,000 a year. I'm doing great. And then they say, well, you're going to get the vaccine. Well, I can't get the vaccine because my physiology, won't allow me to get the vaccine. I'll get deathly ill if I get the vaccine. I can't do it. You're going to do it anyway, or I'm going to fire you. That's the problem is.
I think there's some ways around it due to medical issues that you can, but you got to show real, justification for it.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay. What if you just don't want to get it?
Or it could be against your religion.
Could be against your religion. I mean, There's people who don't get blood transfusions because it's against their religion, right?
Right.
They'd rather die, than go against their religion, which most of us would, but you still got to do it anyway, so you're going to get fired. Mm-hmm. So I think Joe Biden is overreaching here. He should not be making employers fire people out of fear.
And Governor Greg Abbott's the one kind of saying, no, we're not doing any of that, you say, right?
Yeah, in Florida too, right?
Yeah, and in Florida, and well, there's actually 14 other states. We're the 15th who's saying, no, we're not going to do it. But now, of course, senile Biden is saying that, well, if you don't do it, we're going to use all the powers of the federal government to make you do it. Well, you know what? I'd rather have bad roads in the state of Texas, kind of like they did in Louisiana, right? Because of the gambling or underage drinking, than, to take the damn federal money from that old man to comply with his wishes. That's just me, So I think it's a bunch of crap. But
what's a government overreach is medical fascism. It's like some of them on that side, that party, they try to make it seem like they own our rights, and it's like they're holding our rights hostage, and they're like, take this vaccine, you have your rights back, you can enjoy your freedoms again. Yeah. So really,
let's do what we say.
Rights are granted to us by God, right? It says in the Constitution, granted by God. So it's like man didn't give it, man can't take it away. We just have them innately. Mm-hmm. And so government can't do that. And a lot of things people don't understand is the Constitution, it limits the government in different ways.
I heard someone say, I read this recently, don't quote me, it should be updated every 19 years.
I think I heard something like that.
The Constitution?
The Constitution, right. Yeah. Because, I heard something like that, and I don't necessarily agree with that. But because, they can take stuff out of the Constitution, which gives us the right to make this podcast. Gives us the right to own guns. Gives us, all sorts of different... Fourth Amendment. You know what the Fourth Amendment is? The right for unlawful search and seizure, right? If they take that right away, that means anybody
can just come in and
take your stuff. Can pull you over, whether it be a cop or just anybody, who's got, has authority of any kind or doesn't even have authority. They can pull you over, and it's not even against the law. So, you can't take away our Constitution. So every 19 years, if you get some moron like AOC who says, well, we're going to take this right away from people. No, don't take my rights away. You stupid, you stupid girl. You don't have no idea what you're doing here. Just stay out of it, But that's another thing. AOC, she's been mouthing off about so many things. Now, she's not as vocal, at least I'm not seeing it in the news, as it was, 3 or 4 or 5 months ago. But that's probably because they're trying to keep the focus on Biden making people comply with his wishes. Government overreach, kind of like 1984. Government's going to tell you what to do. We're going to concentrate on that. Let's all concentrate on obeying the government like good little sheeple. And that's why I think you're not hearing much about Maxine Waters. You're not hearing much about Pelosi. Most of the focus is on making you do what you're told to do and be a good little sheeple.
Yeah.
And conform.
Conform. Yeah, conform. And which is, do y'all remember, did you ever see that movie They with Roddy Piper?
Nope.
No.
It came out, I think, in probably around 1982. I know it was a little before your time, but watch it. It's actually aliens. Okay, but what's happening here is they're trying to make you conform. Do you know what subliminal messages are?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, what they're doing is they're actually, and by the way, we did that here in America. We used subliminal messages back in the 50s in the movies, if y'all didn't know that. Yeah, in the movie theaters, we were using subliminal messages, and then it became outlawed for us to do that. It said buy popcorn, stuff like that in the movies, because there's 30 frames per second to look like full motion, right? Well, they put 29 frames, and one of those frames says buy popcorn or go buy a drink, things like that. They were doing that in movie theaters, right? But anyway, so back to what I was saying. In the movie, Roddy Piper, he was a wrestler. He was, the
Roddy Piper.
Okay, Roddy Piper. Yeah. Okay, so he was a wrestler / actor. He went more to acting after that, right? So he gets into he's a construction worker, and he's actually just doing his job, and then he stumbles upon these sunglasses, like Ray-Bans, right? The old style Ray-Bans from the 80s. Stumbles upon some sunglasses, puts the sunglasses on, and all of a sudden, of course, everything's black and white. All of a sudden, he can see all the subliminal messages that they're trying to put out. And there's aliens living among us, but we are clouded. Our minds are clouded. We can't see the aliens. It's kind of like the Matrix, if you will. We can't see the aliens, movie. And we can't see the subliminal messages that are written on billboards that says, conform. The other one says, do your duty. Other ones.
It's like hidden in plain sight.
Hidden in plain sight, yeah.
Right.
And that was actually they. And it was written by John Carpenter back in the early 80s.
I got to see this one.
Yeah. It's a slow movie, but it's actually pretty fun to watch.
I like the older movies, too.
It can even, I think a subliminal message can even be like a phrase, but the phrase is supposed to give like a psychological impression to steer you in a certain direction.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's why it's called TV, television program. It's programming your mind.
Programming your mind. Side note, I was talking the other day with a young lady, and I said something another about television, and she said, "What's that?" I said, "The television? What do you?"
You got to say it in an acronym.
Yeah, I had to have the acronym. I said, that thing over there. She goes, "Oh, you mean the TV?" Okay, the TV.
She had to be under 25.
Yeah, she was definitely under 25.
Okay.
It's called the TV now. You can't call it television because they don't know. Like microwave oven. What? I know what a microwave is, but what do you mean microwave oven? What is that?
Like that one person that walked in Jack in a Box with a $2 bill, and they're like, "What's this? Oh, this is not real."
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that a while back. Yeah, this is not. Where did you get this fake money from?
They got the manager, and the manager's like, "Yeah, this is not real."
Oh, the manager said that too? I didn't know that. Wow. Yeah. So, but yeah, I thought that was funny. That and then I said refrigerator one time, and that kind of threw a monkey wrench in there. Wow. Refrigerator? What is that? The fridge? Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. So, but anyway, that was just a side note. But yeah, so 1984 is a good movie to watch if you don't want to read the book. If you want to read the book, it's a lot more detailed in the book. They is a good movie to watch. And then there's several movies out there about how every government, or in this case happen to be aliens, wants you to comply, and America is starting to head that way. I know we're a little over 200 years old, but it's already happening. It's already happening. And,
like John was saying earlier, when you have rough times back when 100 years ago, when things were just bad, that creates tough men, and those tough men are going to create a better time. And when everybody's in that better time, it creates weak men. It's just a cycle that goes back.
And the weak men create bad times. I think we're in that phase where our good times has created a lot of weak people.
I like the way you're saying that. Yeah, it makes sense.
They're creating a bad time now, right now in 2021.
It's just a rise and fall of the empire.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I think it happens to different empires and nations around the world. It's like a repeating cycle of history. Which
kind of brings me on my next topic. I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm what you call a prepper. You're a doomsday prepper.
Yes.
I love to do it. It's a hobby of mine. I'm not a hoarder. I don't hoard unnecessary things. But I've always been into survivalism, things like that. But the way the world's going the way the world's going, you just can't not prep. If you don't prep, then you're just setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah. Well, what I would like to do is just right now, at this point in time, while you're watching this broadcast, what I would like to do is just leave. Just get out of Dodge.
Right.
I don't want to be here anymore.
You mean like Texas?
Where would be your ideal place?
I want to stay here in Texas, an undisclosed location. But I don't want to wait till doomsday or until the government falls. I want to get the hell out of here right now. I'm just sick and tired of the administration. I'm sick and tired of disrespect for police. I'm sick and tired of all the crap that's happening now, and it's going unpunished. Back in my day, when Antifa did the kind of shit that they did, they would be put in jail, or they'd get shot, or they'd get their asses beat. But they're doing the stuff and nobody says anything. It's like, no big deal.
They say it's not even Antifa. I mean, it is, obviously, but there's hidden people in the crowd going to destroy their agenda.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm saying, like, if we had an agenda here for a movement and then some other random people came in and, ransacked the whole city just to make us look bad, that's just kind of gossip.
Well, I kind of, the way I look at it is, well, look at what Antifa is. I don't know if y'all know Antifa. Antifa started actually from Germany. The fall of the Third Reich. We started from that, right? Oh, it's actually, but while the Third Reich was actually there. That's what anti-fascism, that's where it started, right? So Antifa is anti-fascism. So it's been around for a long time. It is actually fighting against the governments, basically.
Right.
That's what it basically is.
Anarchy.
So for anarchy, it's just anarchy. Right. So for anyone to say that, some anarchists joined Antifa just to make Antifa look bad, well, they look bad anyway, because that's what they are, right? But, that's another thing. My whole point is not so much Antifa or Black Lives Matter. It's people committing crimes and going unpunished. Have y'all seen what's been happening, like at CVS Pharmacy in L.A.?
No.
Or Walgreens in L.A.?
The shoplifters are just going in there, filling up bags, and just walking out.
As long as it's under $900 or something like that, they can just take whatever they want.
They're looting.
Yeah. So like, okay, I'm gonna steal this telephone here. This is a $45 telephone. I'm gonna steal 45 of those. I'm gonna steal 19 of those.
And where was this location at?
This is in L.A.
Put it in the calculator.
Yeah, put it in the calculator. How much can I steal legally? How much can I legally steal because the DA will not prosecute me?
And the workers just watch him, like just look at him.
Yeah.
And
is that real?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I got videos of that.
I saw videos.
They're just going in there and just
LA,
taking stuff in L.A. Yeah, just going in there and taking stuff.
That's Democrat-run territory.
Oh yeah.
I lived in San Diego for 5 years, man. It was I like California, but I don't really know too much as far as politics goes out there.
No, I was born in California, but I don't want to ever go back.
I mean, you like the weather at least, right?
Well, I wasn't. I left before I was old enough to even remember the weather.
Okay.
Have
you been back since?
No, absolutely not.
Hey,
I don't think I ever will.
We really appreciate you having us on the podcast today.
I'm glad y'all guys came.
Yeah, we only wanted to do a 30-minute podcast because Adrian's got a busy day today.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But
we're actually about 31 minutes now.
Got in a lot of good content here, I think. It's great conversation. So.
Oh yeah, I can go for days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a huge
there's a lot of stuff to talk about. We'll have to do this again sometime.
Absolutely,
yeah, definitely.
Man.
Well, we can do it virtually next week if you want to.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
And just come here every now and then.
Yeah. Like I said, we can do it virtually. We can do it here. We need just basically a rap session about things that are happening. So okay, but hey, this is Ricky Midnight
and JC Hollis,
Adrian Reyes.
Thanks for listening, guys,
Thank you.
We will see you next time. This is The Uncensored Voice. Bye-bye, guys.
Thanks for listening to The Uncensored Voice.
Make sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And remember, on The Uncensored Voice, we tell it like it is.
So be safe, my friends, and may God bless America.